Hello, everybody. Welcome to part two of the SOL review using Desmos to pass your SOL. So here's our next question. Which graph best represents the equation of? And so which one of these is the correct graph for that equation? So you'll see over here in Desmos, I have it entered in. And I go ahead and click my circle here, and you can see I've got the graph. And what I focus on is look, it hits the x-axis at -5, the y-axis at -4, and that matches this one right here. And so our answer choice for this one is going to be A. All right, here you got a formula to find the angle measures of an isosceles triangle is shown. And then they want you to say, try to figure out which equation can be used to find x. In other words, if you solve this equation for x, which one of those would it become? Okay, picture solving for x. But the one that's done correctly, when it's solved correctly, it's still going to be equivalent to this. So your picture will be the same. So you can see over here, I've entered in the original, right here, the 180 equals 2x plus y. And I want to see the graph. And on the standard graph, I can't see it. So I'm going to zoom out a couple times. There we go. So now I can see. And now I want to see which one of these, because again, if I solve this equation for x correctly and I graph it, I'm going to get the same picture. So one at a time. So you can see I've entered all four choices here, and I'm going to turn them on one at a time to see which one matches. Well, that looks like it's a perfect overlay. So this one's different. This one's different. This one's different. But when I click on this one, you're going to see the green line graphed on top of it. So you see green and green. So that first one is my choice. And so my answer choice here is also A. All right, here, which equation represents a line that passes through the points? So one of these lines is going to pass through these 2 points. So I've set this one up. So I have all four equations entered in. So you can see over here, four equations. Here I have them entered in. And what I'm going to do now um, is I'm going to enter those 2 points. And I'm going to do this by creating a table. So I get plus table, and now I'm going to put those two ordered pairs, right? That -4, 4, -4, 4, and the other one is 8, -2. Don't know what just happened there. Well, let's go down here and try that again. Table, -4, 4, and 8, -2. So you can see it's plotted those 2 points. And then again, which equation represents a line that passes through? So one of these four lines will pass through both of them. Well, that only hits one of the points. Try the next one. Only hits one of the points. That one hits both. This one hits neither. So I have my winner right here. C, -1/2 x plus 2. And again, we're just doing these using Desmos. Which system of inequalities is -3, 1 a solution? This one's a little bit tricky, all right? So I've got that point graphed and labeled. So I'm going to do my two systems. So you can see these two inequalities are my first two here. So I'm going to turn those two on. Now, this region was shaded in twice, right? So if I look at green, look where green is shaded. If you look at where purple is shaded, now if we put them both on, this is the region that got shaded in twice. So anything in this double shaded region is a solution, right? This point is on a dotted line, so it's not a solution. If this was on a solid line that borders our solution region, then it does work, all right? But being where it is, because it's on both lines, it would have to be on both of the lines being solid lines, and that's what they're going after here. So if I do the next two choices here, that's my next system. I'll turn that one on. Again, notice that it's still on one of the dotted lines. It's on a solid line, but it's on a dotted line as well, so it's not a solution. All right, same thing here. This point is on one of the solid lines, but it's on one of the dotted lines, so it only works for one of the equations. Come over here, and again, now it works, all right? So this point is it's on a solid line that is bordering our solution region. If this point was over here somewhere, it would not be a solution. It has to border, and it's on both of the solid lines. So our answer is going to be D. And you could always plug the ordered pairs in to see that they work as well. See that they work for both inequalities. All right, what is the solution to this system of equations? So again, we're going to use Desmos. We're going to graph it. And where those two lines meet, that is your answer. So here we go. Here's our two equations. We graph them. We go to see where those two lines meet. And we have our answer, 1, 5. All right, the graph of, this is a quadratic equation. It's got an x squared in it. Identify each of the solutions. We want to know what makes this equal to 0. What they're saying is, what value for x makes the output become 0? Well, that's the point -4, 0, right? And look at the other place where it hits the x-axis, 2, 0. So that is my solution. The x values that make the output, in this case y, 0. So all you'd have to do on this problem is click right here to select those points. A common mistake is to select this one, but this doesn't make y 0. This makes x 0, and you would be marked incorrect if you selected that one as well. You select these two and only these two. It's where they cross the x-axis. All right, what value of x makes this equation true? So here we go. We've got it typed in. Well, it graphs the vertical line. Let's see where it hits. It hits at 4, 0. So our answer is x equals 4. And we are done with that one. Which equation best represents line M? So once again, we're going to put those 4 in, and we're going to see which one looks like that. All right, so again, I have these 4 choices, and I'm just going to run through them one at a time and see which one looks like this. And what I'm looking for is to see if it hits at -4, and the slope of this is up 1 over 3, so I'm going to see which one matches that picture. That does not look like that. That does not match. That looks like we have a winner. Hits at -4. This hits at -4. This hits at 3, -3. This one hits at 3, -3. So I like choice 3 or C. Right? And again, just making use of Desmos. Christopher incorrectly solved the inequality as shown. So if each step is done correctly and you graph them, you should get exactly the same picture. All right, again, we're talking about how to use Desmos to get or check your answers. So I'm going to graph these. So here's the original problem. line 1, and I'll drag this over a little bit so you can see what's been graphed a little bit better. So you can see it graphed the line, and it's shaded to the right of 8. So I'm going to select these one at a time, and as long as it gives me the same graph, I know that a mistake was not made. Well, same thing, just a different color, right? Try the next one. Same picture, different coloring. Exactly the same thing. And here's our difference. So my mistake was going from 4 to 5. So between step 4 and step 5. And again, I know that a mistake was made because it's not equivalent to, it's not giving me the same picture, the same graph. Solve for n. All right, so we're going to put this in. Now, notice that I put x's where the n's were so I could see the graph of it. If you just put n's there, you're not going to get a graph. You won't get the picture. So let's expand this a little bit. There we go. And it hits at negative 17, so n equals negative 17. So as you guys can see, we solved every single problem from that set just using Desmos, or in the one case, they already provided us the graph, and they probably used Desmos to create that graph.